Hi everybody, once again, this is going to be an English stream, an interview with my fabulous guest here. I almost said gost, which is which is guest in Russian. And I almost said your name in French again. Fabian, Sheepy, Mallant. Yes, exactly. I specifically asked you how to pronounce it correctly to fail. Exactly. So, welcome. Thank you for joining me. And let's get the first things first out of the way. Congratulations on your big win today in the semifinals. You are going to the finals now. Oh, very good. Very good. I do have some jokes about your nickname, but they are all bad. Sorry,
well,
I have to do that.
Okay, it was, at least they were not that long. I guess they were very short.
Oh, nice one. 1-1. Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, so first things first, let me congratulate you with the win today in the semifinals. So,
Спасибо.
Yeah, very good Russian, by the way. Very good. So let's start with a bit of history. Some people don't know you that well. So tell me, please, how did you get sucked in, lured in by the sirens of the majestic world of League of Legends?
Well, when I was young, I really liked everything that has to do with sport. I played soccer or football for since I was 5 or 6 years old because of my parents. They have a really big yard in the back, so we played with everybody from town. And when I went to school, and it was a little bit different because here around, I liked everybody, so we just played football, soccer. And at school, people were not that friendly and it was not that open. So I slowly transitioned over to computer games where I had the same kind of community feel. I started playing video games. I play Dota, which I think is very popular in Russia. And then I transitioned over from Dota to League of Legends. And I was actually a player at the beginning. The first team that we made was Rainbow Bunny Lovers. That was the name. And then we transitioned over to a more serious name with Unicorns of Love. And I became a coach and manager.
Okay, you were the player first, right?
I was a player first. I was playing with Chachi, Hilly, Power of Evil, and Varax. That was the team. And then later on, because I had to do so much different work, I had to do managing job. I was the player. I had also to do the coaching. It just got too much, and I wasn't good enough as a player. So I transitioned over to coach.
Okay. And you have been a coach for how many years?
Long time. Now for 5 years. So I'm one of the oldest League of Legends coaches, actually, which is kind of funny because I'm only 26. So yeah. After that, when we qualified for the LCS, now LEC, I was coach, I was manager, I was dealing with all the sponsorship deals with Razer, for example, with Azubu back in the day, with Acer. And then we got finally a manager with Romain Bijard, who's now one of the guys in charge of sponsorships for the LEC, and he was helping out with managing, so I could be fully a coach, starting when we entered the LCS 4.5 years ago. Now it's already 5 years ago, so it's a long time.
Yeah. So just let's say an advice next time you say one of the most experienced coaches, because you're not that old. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, true. I feel very old though. I think if you're just surrounded by such young spirited people like my team, I feel old. All the memes, I'm not getting it anymore. TikTok, I'm just too old. Not a TikToker.
I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Yeah.
I have the same problem. But what can you do? Okay, so then after the LEC, you transferred to Russia. Can you briefly tell me what your expectations were when you moved to Russia to be the coach of Unicorns of Love in the LCL? And did you manage to meet them? How can you, let's say, estimate the previous season that you had? Was it successful, or you could have done better, or anything else?
So after 4 years with Unicorns of Love, I went for half a year to SK Gaming. At that split, we reached playoffs, and it was pretty good in the start, but then very fast, after the first week, things just didn't work out anymore. So we parted ways, and after that, I was having some offers for different positions that I wasn't really interested in. I wanted to only be head coach and have full responsibility. So if the project fails, it's all on me and I'm losing my job and I'm just not good enough. But if everything is successful, I want to be a big part of it. So that was really important. I wanted to be, I wanted to have responsibility and have power in the team, which I was missing a little bit in SK Gaming, like after some time. So my sister actually started talking with the Russian league. My father already before was very interested working with, for example, in the Brazilian team or in that area. And we actually got a really good connection to Russia because Diamond Prox was working with us for like 3 months or 4 months. And then we had visa issues. But from that time, I was very open to the Russian hemisphere. And I really liked Diamond Prox back in the day. I mean, I still really like him, but now I don't work with him. But back when we worked him, he was very, very dedicated. He always was asking questions about the replay, and we're working really hard. And we won so many games as well. Like I think we won on almost everything. So, but then everything, didn't work out. So my experience with Russia was really positive. And then my sister told me that she has like a connection to one of the owners, Alexander, who was the owner from Team Just, and she's telling me that together with Edward, they are very interested in building the strongest Russian team, and then go to the World Championship. And I've never been to the World Championship before that time, and I said I was interested in doing that because I have full responsibility.
I'll be right back.
Hello, chat. How's it going? Wie geht's? Mir geht es gut. Oh my god, we have some Germans. Hello, everybody. Sheepy, my man. Okay, I had a great conversation with your chat. Very lovely people.
They are. Yes. When they don't flame me, they are.
When they don't flame. It's because you play bad League of Legends, probably, right?
I mean, I never hit it. Okay. It's not even an offense.
I'm also really terrible. Otherwise, I would be a player, right?
Exactly.
I downgraded myself to coach.
Yeah. So you were saying that about the connection with the Russian team and that you wanted to go to Worlds, basically, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And I had full responsibility. It was the team from my family. My father is the owner. My sister is the general manager. So it's a very small company, so to say. But because of this, if you're small, you can move things very fast. So if I say, like, I want this guy, I want that guy, I want an extra analyst, I want this, I want basically anything I want, I can get it. So, yeah, we started making with Edward and Alexander contact and started building the team. And we also had contact with Toon, who was the manager for Vega at that time. And basically, when it stopped, we were talking about possibilities, what we want to do in the future. And we were looking at Russia. And the best players at that time was Team Vega. Vega Squadron went to the MSI and performed okay. And the players looked all really strong. But obviously the Russian league overall, I think, is underdeveloped. Like proper coaching, proper environments, gaming houses, and so on and so forth. So yeah, everything was just like kind of, everything that I could provide, I felt like it was missing. So I was very excited about Russia in that sense. I wanted to see how good can a team be from like a region that is not, since Moscow 5 has not had like the most, glamour. And yeah, so at that point I was really excited because Unicorns of Love, we always had the least amount of money and budget in the LCS. We were always the underdogs, even though we reached playoffs like 6 times or 7 times in a row and made second places and so on. So I really felt that was a super exciting project that really fits to me and it really fits to Unicorns of Love. So yeah, then we talked with Boss, Anna, and Nomans. We took them into the team. I talked with Inex. I told him basically, I will work until, I can't move anymore for us to reach Worlds. So join the team and we will go to Worlds together. And he was like, okay, sounds good. So, and Inix was in a really bad situation too. You guys talked about it last time, but
Yeah.
basically he had problems with Excel. He would have been like substitute for their academy team or something. Yeah, something like this. So
Yeah.
I think it was a really good match. And Inix is extremely talented, very hardworking, smart person. I think overall I liked his style. And we had very close. He was very hardworking too, which is the only thing I really care for. So yeah. Then we talked with the Vega players. We got the Vega players in, Norman's boss Anna, and Edward for support, and ADC with Inix. And yeah, we started the season. Expectations where we go to Worlds and we perform well. And yeah, we won the split. It was very close. We played against Sellers and Gadget as well, which is kind of funny in the final against Vega. But we won. We went to Worlds. It was extremely close. We went 2-3 against Splice. We won against the North American team.
Clutch Gaming, yeah.
Clutch Gaming, exactly. And I think a lot of the games we could have won, we lost against Mammoth games that we shouldn't really lose. But I think everybody had like equal amount of fault. I think I could have done way better too. Like draft preparation, thinking ahead about like how's the team feeling exactly. But we were only working for 3 months. So since the start, like after 1 week, I already had to like work really hard on the guys, because it's Russia is a little bit different than LCS players or LEC players. Here it's a very short way to the tournament. To get into LCS is extremely hard, or LEC, and you have like the regional leagues before the Challenger Series, and you would go maybe to Turkey first, and then you go to the English, and then you go to the German league, and then suddenly you go into an academy team, and then you maybe make it to the LEC. So it's a long, long way. But for Russian players, if you're good, like really good player, like decent player, and you're a high ladder, you could easily go into the Russian league. Like I have the feeling, at least. So yeah, I had to talk with them about like a lot of stuff that you would generally learn on a journey of playing on a lot of professional teams that have the big ambitions to earn hundreds of thousands of euros and play in the LCS, LEC. So yeah, so after 3 months working, we made it towards. We had a relatively good showing. I think we made a lot of people proud on our first split together, and obviously this year we're looking to do even better.
Basically, I feel like it's a good segue to talk about the differences between Russia and the European region. Let's say with a general one. Russia is a country. Did you have the time to experience the culture, the people, the city, and everything?
Yes. I tried to, experience as much as possible. But it was really difficult because I wanted to be the hardest working person in the team, just to inspire people to do the same. And I was very harsh also in the reviews, or like the way that we work, because the guys, to get ready for an international tournament, you generally need to be able to sustain a lot of pressure. So in 3 months, I was just like really, you need to be motivated, and like, this is what you want, and you tell me this, and But that is a big difference between Russia and the LEC or LCS. Generally speaking, if you are very talented, it's maybe fine to get like into the. Some people just make it like one time you play extremely well for like half a year or 1 year, and you instantly get into LCS or LEC. That's very rare. Generally speaking, you play over 3, 4, 5 years competitive, and then you become better. So you get into LCS or LEC. But in Russia League, I feel like a lot of players that are not as good or as advanced or like know as much as like in the LEC are present, and don't have this kind of mentality of like working extremely hard and diligent and very humble over a long period of time. That being said, though, I got obviously super lucky with my players, because I got the best players possible to work from the start, and they all are very motivated and are very, very talented. So yeah, I think that in general, the difference between like Russian players and the European players are a mentality difference between like working very hard and diligent and very humble and always looking for improvement, compared to just feeling better or stronger, or yeah. And this is also what I felt about Russian people. I think it's a lot about power and a lot about money and position. Like if you're somebody who's earning a lot of money and you dress well and all of this kind of stuff is like very important to to show yourself and present yourself. And women have to look like very pretty, and they wear makeup even if they go to the supermarket or something like this. It was like it was really crazy. And also about work, I feel like the Russian people, you have some people that are extremely good at working, who work long hours for not much money, and and it's also a very tough country because in Germany it's like a little bit warmer and the people are a little bit more open and nice, right? Like in Russia, all the some topics are like very difficult to talk about, and so it's a little bit more old school. I feel like, but I have to say that Moscow especially is obviously different. Like I have not seen the rest of Russia, like Siberia or something like this. That's hardcore. I feel like Moscow is already.
You won't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That 2 of our players are coming from Siberia, so maybe I visit their country, their family at some point. I'm just like slowly dying there because I got so much sick actually in Russia. So I like the people that I worked with, so I think that the environment we created people that I really enjoy overall, and I think they're very happy in general as well. And so I like Russian people. The ones that I think like the ones that that like let's say there's like a selection of 100 people. I will like 20 of them, and from those 20 there's like 5 that are like insane, like super hardworking, very nice, very you can trust them, about things like from the 100 people. And so like the people that I'm working with right now, like Invi and every of the players, Alexander, and Anatoly, they are and Yelisei, absolutely fantastic people, really really great people.
Okay, just a fair warning, my friend, be careful what you say about Russian people if it's not something nice.
I know. Okay. I have to be careful, but I wanna be honest too. I think they're really really great in Russia, but you need to find the right people, and I think there's a lot of difficult times in Russia too, and that creates obviously also difficult people.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to base the relationship on trust when it's hard to open up. I mean,
yes.
Russian mentality is more closed compared to European, because I mean I've been to Europe and I was shocked that people are like, oh hi, always in
and
your
especially
face.
Germans,
Like,
oh.
Yeah. And when you come from Russia, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Relax.
Slow down here.
Saw you. Yeah, slow down.
What is going on here? Yeah. We didn't even drink vodka together. Where's the alcohol?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're happy with the roster you have right now, obviously.
Yes.
But you had to part ways with Edward and Inax. Do you think this is a loss for the team, or do you think having Santos and Gadget is an improvement?
I think that having Santos and Gadget overall are an improvement in a lot of ways. I think what people underestimate is that Inax spoke a little bit of Russian, but the communication was mostly in English. And people like Boss, for example, are way more comfortable speaking Russian.
Yeah.
I think for Anna it's fine. I think for Nomans it's fine. But and I mean nowadays Boss speaks way better English too, and he opened up. So I think that last split was probably harder than it would have been this split. Player wise, I think that Santa's mentality is really great. He's really working hard, and he's very smart. Sometimes he's too smart for his own good. I feel like if you have an argument, he would find a way to make it longer by making a good question. But he's smart enough to answer it himself. But he wants to see if you can answer it. So it's really funny. Yeah, it's a tricky person, but it's cool. That's also how he's in game. He will come up with really great ideas. And Gadget is a really interesting person. Before I work with players, I generally talk with them like for 1-2 hours or something about everything, and he was, he was working really hard before. He was in a swimming school and was swimming like 2 kilometers per day or 20. I don't remember exactly 2 or 20, but it was like insane.
Yeah.
Insane amount of work every day. And I don't know. Overall, he was really surprising me because everybody told me that he's a little bit childish and that
Kind of is.
he kind of can be,
Yeah.
And I understand that too. And he's a really funny guy, and he likes the memes. And Russia and VK is just full of memes. But he really surprised me because when we started working, he was very interested, and I think generally speaking, he's a fantastic player. He reminds me, I think compared to Inex, I like that he's a little bit more trying out different things. But what's different is with Inex, like his thoughts are extremely clear and structured. So for Gadget, sometimes it's like, all right, I think that, I don't know, let's pick me. I try not to give away anything, but
Yeah, sure.
let's pick me Timo or something like this, or what is there that I can say? Pick me Senna, right? Okay, Senna is really broken now. What can I just say? Aphelios? All right. He's like, okay, pick me Aphelios. It's
The
absolutely
secrets are
broken. We're
out
like,
in the open.
yeah. He's like, it's really broken. Just pick me this. And we're like, okay, we didn't really practice this. In general, we pick like Syndra or Mafia or something like this. And he's like, no, it's like really, really broken. And then another day is like some other champion, and it's generally working out somewhat, but it's harder to follow his thoughts than Inex. But he's very smart and very talented. So I think over a longer period of time, that will come in extremely handy when we have to face international players where you need to have this kind of extra, I don't think it's enough to
factor. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that really can win or lose you games, and that's a good thing, because if I'm a good coach and he's a good player and we work hard, it should be something that wins us games.
If I were to, yeah. I want to make it a bit shorter. I feel like if I were to compare Inex and Gadget, I worked with Gadget. I feel like he's kind of a romantic in a way. Inex is way more pragmatic. If you tell him what do you think about, let's say, Aphelios, he's gonna be like, well, it's 8 out of 10, very strong, but he has these weaknesses and so on. If you ask Gadget, he's gonna be, look, this is broken. We have to pick it. I'm gonna fucking 1v9. So this is kind of his thought process.
It's very extreme, but I get you. I think Inex is this is the way it's being played, and for Gadget you have to slowly okay, why is he strong? Yeah, he's fucking OP. He wins every laning phase. And you're like, why? And he's like, well, the trades, and I have those guns. And I'm like, okay, and why? Inex just gives it to you. And Gadget, he has it all in his head, and you have to, get it.
Yeah, it's basically a head full of gold, but you have to search for it.
You have to, dig it,
Yeah. But it's always great to have those players, because I feel like they give you more inspiration. You have to contain their talent a bit, but but you sometimes get basically a nugget of gold, and sometimes even a nugget of challenger. Anyways, so let's go into this season. You obviously have a new roster. You had some problems with Rocks, but before we get into Rocks, tell me what were your expectations about other teams who you considered your main opponent, the main villain, let's say, who you considered a bit weaker. What was your ranking before the games actually started?
So I think everybody was expecting Gambit and us to perform by far the best, and Gambit so far has been really a disappointment. I think for themselves as well. I'm 100% sure Gambit management, Gambit players are all not very happy where they are right now. For the money they invested, but also for the player strengths that they are having, because they brought Sankoks in, right? Diamond and Edward are back, who played for a long time together. So already, that should tell you a lot. They lost Steos, but still, this roster should be really strong. So, I think they're probably underperforming. I'm not 100% sure what's going on behind the scenes, but I think everybody expected Gambit as well as the organization to to be one of the best teams together with us. And yeah, I mean, their place has been taken kind of by Rocks. I think I would have expected Rocks where Gambit is right now, but they just changed places. So Rocks is like extremely strong. We're gonna play the finals against them soon. Yeah, congratulations to them. You know, like I'm a huge fan of the underdog story. I really like to work with different talent, and they seem obviously very talented.
Okay, so can I go for let's say a more pointy question about your last game with Rocks and about
your loss
or win? Yes, I mean the loss in the LCL with some. Well, I can't say questionable because I obviously don't know how the drafting happens in your team, and I don't know what's tier 1 for you and so on. But some people were asking questions about choices like Nico ADC, well, AD Nico ADC, because AP Nico exists. AD is kind of, I mean, you surprised us. Was it something you were like preparing specifically for Rocks, or was it something that you were testing out just to see if it works or not?
I think I've been very unstructured in the way that we're doing drafts. I think it's a bit from the team and a bit from me. Usually you meet in the middle somewhere, and depending on your character, you either force something and then people come more towards you, or like you're giving and then people. Last split I was like very strict.
Forcing, yeah.
Yeah, and this split I have way more time, so I'm checking out a bit what people are thinking and how does it go in different situations. Not all very, like, it sounds very planned, but some of it just comes. So, yeah, and the drafts process, I think if we're going into international events or if we're going towards, like, finals and playoffs, should be a lot more structured for what is the champion wanna blind pick here? What counter picks do we have? What champions do we never want to blind pick? Who needs strong picks? What's our playstyle? What's our identity? Like all of this, I wanted to discuss when I'm back in Russia. Right now, I'm stuck in Germany, so it sucks a bit. But I will prepare that a bit more. And right now, we have so much time, so it's not bad to let the people work a bit for themselves and see how they're performing. You know, so I'm happy that we're learning from those. Even if it's a loss, you know.
Yeah.
But obviously against Rocks, draft was okay, but the win conditions weren't clear, and we didn't exactly know what to do. And you saw it in our gameplay, right? Like it didn't seem like we are totally in control. And I think today, when we had champions we know a bit better to play, it was clear. Like we destroyed today, so yeah. I think that's where you see the difference. The draft wasn't great, and it was fine, but the win conditions weren't clear, and then the team just falls apart. And individually, they're still good, and that was partly my fault and partly players' fault. So yeah, we share a responsibility.
Sure, and also it's a best of one. You know, these things happen. You know.
Yeah, but if we think about Rocks, we played them 2 games before, right? In the Open Cup, and we lost also one of those games. So yeah. I think it's great though to see that Rocks is actually smart about drafting, and it's somebody we should take more seriously. And I think that pushes the league overall ahead. So I'm very happy if we could have more strong teams in the Russian league, where we get punished for our mistakes and we start losing games because we're not well prepared.
Yeah, because competition actually makes you stronger, right?
Yes, more interesting for everybody, right? For the fans as well.
Yeah, and especially for the fans, believe me.
So I really like it. And obviously, if we're going to international events, then we should be strong. And if we played in a league that doesn't show us our mistakes, then it would be like kind of a waste. So yeah, just props to Rocks, and I'm looking forward playing them again. And last time was funny because everybody in our team just likes Dreampool. He's like a very fluffy guy, like whenever we were on LCL stage, we look at him and it just makes us happy. So maybe we can see them again, you know. I mean, finals will not be offline right now, so we probably don't see them. Yeah. That will be sad, but you know, maybe next split.
Okay, so I have a question from chat that I actually like, so I'm gonna ask you this. So, which players in the CISC would you like to work with? And which players do you see potential in? You don't need to name all of them, just some examples, let's say, if you have any.
I would like to work with Stejos, because I heard a lot of things that he's like a shot caller and he pushes his team a lot, and overall as a player he's really interesting. I always thought that he was like a carry for Gambit before. So he's definitely sounds interesting. Outside of him, now that Cox is here, I would have liked to hear a little bit about what he's thinking, what his thoughts were, because we're both obviously coming from the LEC, LCS, and yeah, just what his thoughts are would be overall interesting. I mean, he's not in the Russian league right now, but I think Zanzara overall as a player is pretty good. So, but he doesn't. I'm really a big fan of our team. I feel like if there was a player that I really wanted to work with, then I would be working with him. So right now I really enjoy working with Gadget, Santas, Nomans, Anna, and Boss. So the only one probably is like, because I already worked with Diamond and Edward as well, so I already know them pretty well. So yeah.
Okay, sure. I mean, your team is the best, but that was a question like if you see the potential in the other.
I would like to have a talk with Stairs and see what kind of person he is and like how he feels about his career responsibility. And yeah, maybe some players of Rocks, but I think it will be more interesting in the future when second split starts, and then I think people need to have more outstanding performances.
Yeah. So speaking about the next split and just in the Russian league in general, you said already that we kind of lack the European, not just European, I would say a more mature approach to the professional scene, both in like the player's attitude and the coaching process and everything like that. When you were like developing as a coach, did you have any sort of special education, or did you just go from being a player to being a coach?
I mean, I was studying while I was in the play, and I was extremely good at school. I went to like programs for talented people or something like this. So like from a young age, everything that I was interested about was like logic and structure. I was studying mathematics and computer science, so I was a massive nerd. Yes, and then I suddenly wore a suit on LCS for like 4 years. It was really weird for me. I had like no clue what was going on, but it was really great experience. But yeah, so I think that all of like the studying and this kind of stuff really prepared me well to have like a structured way of thinking. And I overall want to understand. That's like really important, everything. And then outside of this, I really like a person. I'm not the biggest fan of like huge amount of people, but like one singular person is really interesting, like the talent and how they learn something. I'm very interested in. So maybe in the future I become like an instructor, or like maybe I can help with coaching, or maybe I'll open a school or something. Sheepy school, that would be cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but so all of this, and then everything else is just experience, because I had a huge amount of responsibility. Unicorns of Love was our own company, so any money that we spent was from our own pocket. And if I don't perform well, everything is just going to collapse and everybody's losing their jobs. And so I just had to work every day. And it didn't matter if I was right. It didn't matter, everything that needed to happen is that we win games for a longer period of time and we improve. And so, yeah, after some time, like 1 or 2 years, when we started losing good players, when I didn't make the correct decisions, you're just like kind of obsessive, like you're working so hard every day, over and over and over again. So yeah, then you just naturally, I think, become better at what you're doing. And now I feel very comfortable. I'm still learning a lot. I still think I make a lot of mistakes. I can do way better. And I think that's a good mentality to have to improve.
I mean, I can quote Master Yi here, one of my favorite characters. A true master is an eternal student. And
yeah, exactly.
I completely agree with it. You can never learn too much. So how do you think, so the coaching process, what about infrastructure of the Russian league? Do you think it causes the problem in the development of the Russian players and development of Russian teams and the overall development of the Russian scene as it is?
Yeah, I think a lot of different things come in. I think first off, the Russian mentality. I feel that sometimes Russian people, I think people in general, by the way, are afraid of taking things seriously and like investing a lot of time into it over a longer period of time, like commitment. And because it really hurts if you fail, right? Like if you really try your hardest and you really work hard and you cannot make any excuses and then you fail, then you're just left with that. You're not good enough. Whatever, however hard you want to be with yourself, you're a piece of shit and everybody else is better and nobody cares about you. Like all this negativity, this is, I think, where people are afraid of. And I think that's especially true in, I don't know, especially true, but I think it's kind of true in environments where you don't have like proper structure. And I come from a very good uprising. How's it called? From parents, they took care and tell me like the rules. So I just basically took that over with all my experience of failure. Like I didn't manage to reach Worlds like 4 times in a row. And we tried so unbelievably hard, and we cried and it was fucking terrible. And I think that shapes you. So all of this I just bring over when I went to Russia. I tell them exactly when to wake up, what the schedule is, what is the way that we want to play the game. Start conversations, try to understand what they are thinking, try to build an understanding of what they think is important and play with their strengths. Just try to make it work somehow. It's and I think the most important thing is just investment. Like let's say we're losing a games against Rocks, you cannot be like, oh well, it's my mid laner's a piece of shit, and every time he just does like this kind of stuff, and obviously, I give him this and then he fails like last time. It's like all excuses. You just like really need to just see what you can do better. And I think this is what we bring, like 4 years of experience through hard failure and an open mind and understanding, because we're unicorns of love and we love people.
So basically you're saying that the main problem is mentality, right? And this is a very good segue into the next question. If you were to give an advice to solo queue players, which is like the most important, let's say, shard of wisdom, a very short and wise advice, what would it be? How to improve in League of Legends?
I think, I think there are a lot of people that say they want something, but they are not doing the steps that it takes to do them, because they're afraid to do them. And then if they do them, A, they can be very boring, so you just stop. And B, if you do them and you fail, you're just bad at something, and there's no excuses. So if you don't try, you can always be like, if I would try, then I would be the best, So cut the bullshit. Stop wasting your life and your time being afraid of like actually investing time into something, and do the things that you love without caring about what other people are thinking. So if you want to be good at solo queue, and even if you suck in the beginning and you lose every game, like mute everyone else, just play your game and just be interested in improving the game. And I truly believe that if you come to the point where you want to already, mentally you're that far, you're like, I want to become good at solo queue in League of Legends. I think you're smart enough at this point also to figure out that, you need to watch replays of people who are playing professionally and watch replays of professional leagues and listen to voice comms. How do they communicate, I think that if you truly care, you will find a way. And so my advice is just go for it and really don't care what anybody else thinks. You're really great and have some, you're a great person, try it, and that already is 90% more than what the rest is doing.
Let's go for a funnier question. Tell me, please, where does your nickname come from?
I was playing Warcraft 3, and in Warcraft 3 there was different custom maps, like Dota, Defense of the Ancient, and one of the other funny games, beside that one, was Sheep Tag, which is literally about wolves trying to kill sheep, and you had to run away.
Okay.
So that's the principle, and you could do some cool tricks, and like outplay the wolves and make them look like idiots. And I was very good at Dota, so I called myself Master of Dota because that's a cool name.
Sure.
And then I was then I changed and I played more sheep tech, and then I called myself Master of Sheepy, Master of Sheep, because I was the master of sheep tech, right?
Yeah.
But then I changed over to League of Legends, but somebody who knew me already, or like, I don't know, a fan, called themselves Master of Sheep, so I called myself Master of Sheepy.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to LCS. You needed to call yourself UOL, Master of Sheepy. That was too long, so I could call myself UOL Master, which I think is like too much. So I called myself
Kinda,
UOL, UOL Sheepy, and that's where the name comes from.
Okay, that's a cool story. If you were to buff one champion, nerf one champion, and delete one champion from the game, what would those champions be?
I think I start with delete. I think they should just delete Aphelios. I think nothing about this champion is fun or interactive and cool to play around. I think if for a casual player, you just don't have the time to learn 140 champions if you don't play it professionally, and then play around a coming weapon change or any of the abilities from his exactly, and know all the interactions beside all the 140 other champions that there are. So I don't think it's fun for the enemy. I think if you are an Aphelios main, it's like, I guess it can be fine, but they need to nerf it to the point where it's fine for everybody, and then at this point I don't think it's fun for you anymore. So yeah, and I think, play Aphelios, invest the time to learn 5 or 10 other champions. I think this is maybe better. Mm-hmm. But it's cool to have an overcomplicated champion, I guess, for some people. But yeah, I would delete this one. Buff Katarina? No, I'm just kidding. I think that would be
I was
terrible.
This ready to just disconnect you from the call.
Yeah,
that was a wrong answer.
Just imagine. Kazik, Rengar.
Yeah, buff Katarina.
The beloved champions.
Yeah. No.
What can we buff? What champion do I actually like? I don't know. What champion is fun? I feel like all the champions in League of Legends are just so annoying to play against if you buff them. I mean, nerf Ornn, just nerf his passive one more time. Not that, just give less stats for the items, because I feel like if you just pick the champion because it gives good items to other champions and gives you like 5,000 gold from that, it feels like kind of like I don't know, it feels bad. It feels like a second shopkeeper you just have on your team to like craft yourself a better Rabadons. So yeah, nerf that champion into the ground. Also, what's the counterplay to Ornn Ultimate? It's not,
Braum.
ETP somewhere, right? Yeah, Braum. But I mean, I think it's very difficult to like be like, I'm gonna get stunned or like flash it out or movement speed. Like, you're not fast enough. So if the enemy Ornn is playing well, you're gonna get knocked up. And you have this passive that prolongs, like nerf this, buff. I don't know, man.
Okay, what's your favorite champion? Just let's go with that.
Katarina.
Your favorite champion is Katarina. Okay, well.
I come from Dota, and in Dota, whoever played this game, it was so boring to run around, because in the early game everything costs mana. So you play Vengeful Spirit or whatever, you stun an enemy one time in lane, and you're like, well, that's it for the next 30 seconds or something. So when I played League of Legends, I'm like, Katarina has no mana. How broken is this? So, and then I got the reset mechanics. It's beautiful. Just buff. I guess buff Twisted Fate, so he can be played again in jungle.
I mean, he's getting buffed actually in 10.6 and quite a lot, I would say.
Very good.
Yeah. Well,
maybe we play him. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, no spoilers. But there is a chance, and actually, I would say that most of the analysts and coaches of other teams should be suspecting it, because you already played Twisted Fate in the past. Now he's getting stronger, so 2 + 2 = 4. Okay.
Exactly.
There was a question how you call Ahahasik, but I think you already answered it. You call him Anna.
Yeah. I don't know. He's in. Because in German, okay, so his name is Ahahasik or something like this, but it sounds like you are sneezing for a really long time. It's like Ahahasik. So it's very difficult to say for German.
Yeah.
And in German, Ahahasik means pineapple, which in German means ananas. So ahahasik, ananas. I just call them Anna. So it's like, I guess. Most of the players, I really forget how they're called, like their normal names, even because I just call them by their player names. So yeah. Mm-hmm. And Nomans sounds way more Nomans than Lev, you know? So, if you know what I mean. The name, I think the player names describes them better than, you know, because they choose it themselves and it's their identity.
Yeah, exactly, so, exactly. Yeah. That's what I wanted to say, because nickname, you choose it for yourself. Name is something that your parents give you and have to live with it. True. So there is a Katarina main in chat who's happy about your suggestion, but that's bad.
For you, man.
Don't.
Yeah. I'll talk with Riot. We make it happen.
Yeah, no. Please don't. 200 years of competitive designing experience in something. It's very bad. Anyway, so let's talk more about your plans for the for this split. So you obviously want to go to MSI, right?
Yes.
What are your ambitions at MSI? Do you plan to go for the main stage?
Yeah, of course. I want to get a second spot for Russia for Worlds. I think that would be the best. Honestly speaking. Yeah, by far. I want to go to MSI, have a really strong showing with this team. And we're going to prepare well for it. Sadly, I cannot be in Russia right now, which really kind of sucks. I feel way more motivated when I have the players beside me. But that's not going to change that. I know that I can do better. So I think... especially like when we're starting to, like, it becomes more clear, like in a month, you know, we will have the finals and whatnot. So I think very soon we will start having like clearer structure and prepare extremely hard. But right now, you know, we needed to save some time because last time when we went to Worlds, we burned out. And I'm just checking how it works right now if we're having like a little bit less pressure. And there's some good things and some bad things. So I learned something again, which is, you know, an eternal student, you know, to master.
Exactly. Yeah. So a question here from Casey, actually a professional player from Vegas Squadron.
Hello.
So he asks, what was the hardest thing to teach to your current team? What was the thing that you worked on the most?
I'm still working on it. It's mentality. It's like take every game. Yeah, take every game seriously. Mm-hmm. Invest energy into what you love, and don't make excuses. I feel like a lot of times people do things that make them unhappy, but they just do them because they're afraid to do something else. Like a lot of people just waste so much time on social media, on VK, YouTube, watching random clips, talking with friends they don't really like or they don't really care about, or going to places they don't like, doing things they don't really appreciate, and just wasting time, laying in bed awake. I don't know. So I think there's a lot of this because they're afraid to like invest a lot of time or struggle, you know, like fight. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I'm learning that for myself too. But in the end, I always remember the feeling that when you worked really hard, for example, at the gym, you came from the gym, it feels shitty if you just push not the hardest weight you can. You know, it feels bad if you go back home and it was like very easy. Right? It feels maybe good in the gym because you're like, oh, it's easy. But afterwards, you will feel like shit because you didn't try hard. And actually, it feels like you wasted your time. So I don't want my players to have that feeling ever. So I would rather work them too hard. And then in the end of the year, they're like, man, this year I worked so hard. I'm so proud of myself. So I would rather have that feeling. So yeah, I'm trying to help them to be long-term satisfied and be proud of something. I'm not doing the best job I can right now. But right now, I'm just exploring a lot and learning about this team and how people are right now. Because my team is extremely good. I barely need to do anything. And I think they would be one of the best teams in Russia. So I have to see how to move them perfectly.
Yeah. Do you play solo queue yourself?
When I'm in Russia, yes. Here, I don't have time. We just made a big announcement for our new investor, which gives us so much money and possibilities. And we can do anything we want right now, basically. So I'm just brainstorming, and we have the finals coming up now. We had the semifinals, so and I need to prepare for the next month. Like, when do I want to start with identity, or what do I want to do for the next weeks? Like, what champions are strong?
Yeah.
How do I involve our analysts from France? And so many things I have to work out. So I don't have much time. But when I have time, I usually like to play. And yeah, I love League of Legends. It's a beautiful game.
Exactly. I always say that it's an abusive relationship. I love League of Legends, and it hates me and always punishes me. But but you get the gist.
I really like League of Legends. It's super interesting. I'm happy we got to play this. It's it's just I learn everything every day, something new.
Yeah. Do you think that we have players in LCL that are LEC worthy?
Yeah, of course. I think that players from my team are LEC or LCS worthy. I think they all could be. But mostly it's about practicing hard and having good mentality, because I think it's kind of... I mean, coming from LEC and LCS, it's like nice because it's in a harsh environment where you're going to improve, and obviously you get more money and you feel more self-satisfied because you made it or some shit like this. But like, after being through this, it's kind of like you're starting to look for something new. And I think that people could skip all of this and just be like, well, what actually makes me happy in life? What actually do I enjoy? And for me, it's improvement. I really like self-improvement, and I like to watch people that are intelligent and make creative decisions. I like music, art, and great plays from my players. So, for example, today, like when they dodge skill shots, or, for example, a gadget used the trinket ward to hit it with Senna Q and then kill the enemy, stuff like this, I'm like, oh man, he really thought it on the spot. And it's really good. And then I see stuff where people are just idiots, and I'm like, whoa, that's a waste of time, So I'm like very much like this, like intelligent, cool plays that are thought out and cost a lot of energy. Really boring plays where I know you can do better. It's like, why are you wasting your time? So.
But that's the beauty of League, right? We always want to... I mean, maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, but seeing a good player, like, creating, improvising a great play, it's always like, wow. Did
it's like
you
art.
See that? Yeah, exactly.
It's great. I love it. I love it so much.
So, tell me, please, according to your opinion, what roles are the most impactful in pro play? Or are they all equal?
I think jungle is the most impactful role. Because you need to understand every role extremely well to play your role good. For top lane, it's fine if you understand top lane. Right? It would be like 70-80% of what you do. Mid lane is already more. You need to understand possibilities of rotating bot lane, investing into bot lane matchup, into top lane matchup, how to set up for Rift Herald, Dragon, positioning into enemy jungle from mid lane into red side, blue side. When you want to reset, lane swapping, and then you need to maybe decide to go on a different lane, like top or bot lane at some point. And, if you're a split pusher or something. So I think, top lane, I think it's almost always good to just be good on lane and then play your top lane, look for TPs, but play your lane, be a split pusher. Mm-hmm. And you can learn a lot about the other things, exactly like a jungler, but as giving, because it's not helpful all the time. But if you want to become a good player, you need to learn it all. Then I think jungle needs to know everything. And he needs to know his 1v1, but how to farm minions is like, I don't think it's that difficult. What jungle roots gives you like level 3, I don't think it's that difficult, but he needs to start warding. He will be starting to get under-leveled. He needs to understand how to fight 2v2s. Because he is weaker, he needs to play around other people carrying him this game, so he needs to set up people, like play Sejuani, so that you get all the cooldowns on you. You die, but your carry, doesn't die to a Varus ultimate or to like a Trundle ultimate, and everything is good. So, and I think support has an equally difficult situation, but I think the most impactful roles are definitely, but because they don't have so much gold, supports are like kind of so even if you snowball a lane, it's up to that lane then to carry, unless you play, even a Pyke or Senna, So I think that jungle definitely, then mid lane, then ADC, because right now Dragon is the first objective, then you swap to Rift Herald, and in mid-game the ADC needs to carry because they scale the best. Aphelios is just insane scaling, right?
Yeah.
Then top lane, and then support.
Do you have do you have a favorite player in your team? And don't worry, I won't tell any of them.
Okay, if it's between you and me.
Yeah, just between you and me. And chat.
I cannot say. No, but if they tell my players, there will be inner war. I don't think anybody of my players would watch this anyway. They would be like, Sheepy talking. I get that every day, you know? Why would I?
Yeah, sure.
Like some extra time with Sheepy. Favorite player? Man, I like them for different reasons. I really like Boss. I think all the players know anyway that I like Boss. He's just so fluffy, and he's just like a teddy bear, and he comes from Siberia, so you just want to cuddle him. So this is Boss. Yeah. And then he's very smart, and he's very good about the game. But he's also a little bit innocent and like simple in the way he thinks about like some stuff, because he doesn't care about it so much. He's more like, I play lane, I play strong, I win game, things are good, like, you know, I'm a bear.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to be like a little bit more like, you know, tickle like slowly and get the things, you know, and then you destroy the enemy, you know. Boss is more like sledgehammer, like destroy it right away. So I like Boss. I like obviously the rest of the players too, but I think I think if I say any other player, the people would be angry from my team. But if I say Boss, they're like, okay, I guess it's fine. It's Boss.
Okay.
Everybody likes Boss in our team.
Understandable. Tell me, please, how do you relax in between splits? Because, as you said, you're working hard, or hardly working, joking. But if you work hard, you need to relax as well, right? You need to be able to reset so you can work hard again.
Yeah, terrible at that. I think all my players are terrible at that too. I think esport in general is terrible at relaxing and getting time and having a good mentality. I'm still working on this. Probably in like 1 or 2 years, I will have a better answer. But right now, people have trouble sleeping, people have trouble eating, having energy, all at the right time. Feeling committed, like, you know, like if you love spaghetti, but you eat spaghetti every day, then if you don't eat spaghetti for like 3 days, you will love it. But afterwards, you will like, oh no, man, I cannot. It's kind of like this. And then having this mentality is difficult. Then also understanding when you don't feel good is really hard when you don't feel good. Like when you feel shit, like everything just feels shit, but it's not like, oh yeah, I'm feeling like shit, but the situation is actually great. Like you cannot think like this. It's so hard.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at relaxing and chilling out. Because I'm also afraid that if I start chilling and I do it the wrong way, like, okay, think about it like this. If you want to become better at basketball, in some way or form, you have to do something with basketball. Play in a sport or like something that's similar. You need, you know, to dribble. Yeah. And people that focus a lot on basketball and do it in a smart way, they become better than people that focus not at all on basketball, like who play, I don't know, football or something like this, right? After 1 year, if they both did something, like he really, then this guy who concentrate on basketball, he will be extremely good. So I feel whenever I don't concentrate on basketball in this kind, League of Legends, like I'm not actually improving at League of Legends because, you know, so therefore I'm wasting my time. So then I'm starting working on League of Legends again, but then I get tired and fatigued, and then I don't work on it so well anymore. But then I work on it less, and then I want to work on it more. So I'm terrible, really terrible at not working a lot. Today and yesterday, I had more time to not spend on League of Legends, and I felt that there are certain benefits. So yeah, I think over the next year, I will learn more about it, and then I can share it with my players and find a good middle ground so that you feel motivated and energetic, but you don't feel like you're wasting your time. So it's super hard.
So you don't want to go into extremes when you work till the moment that you're feeling you're about to die, and then you stop working, or or you just rest for too long. So
exactly.
Well, I mean,
but it's so difficult.
Yeah.
Because it sounds so simple, but it's really not, because all the pro players are absolutely obsessive with the game.
Yeah.
So the idea is the optimal way to be good at a sport being obsessive about it and just investing insane amount of time? Like, is it the best way? Somebody like Faker has a ridiculous amount of schedule, right?
Yeah.
Like all the players in Korea, you are awake till 4, you wake up at 10, right? And this, historically speaking, they have been the best at like esport, right? So it's a question. Everything has to be still figured out, but I think I'm getting closer to the answer, which makes me very excited.
Okay. Another question from chat is: do you think that having another tournament such as Open Cup in the middle of the split and in the middle of the week between the LCL games is a good idea, or would you prefer to separate them?
Don't really care too much about it. I think that what our team is missing right now is enemies to become better. So teams that are just working extremely hard and are very creative, and the players are not bad. Like if you make a mistake, and that, by the way, I believe really truly in this, that I feel like so many people are way smarter and could be way better at League of Legends, and they're somehow pretending to improve while not actually doing it. Like, for example, let's say they lose a game and they're just like, my team is fucking shit, blah, 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 and I played so well. I went actually 6-5, but my bot lane support went 2-8. But then you died 5 times. You probably made a lot of mistakes. Like, you didn't know everything that was going on. A lot of it was luck. Like, I feel like so many people are just, I don't know, they're just trying to make themselves feel good and then lying to themselves. And the smarter you are, the harder the lie is, But yeah, I feel that I wish that all the people, like in the LCL or whatnot, like when they make a mistake once, they stop putting it on other people and putting it on themselves, and then they are upset or cry or whatever, but they know that they are going to improve and they don't are too hard on themselves, and then they actually try to fix the mistake. So you lose a lot of CS, you go into the practice tool every morning, you play 15 minutes against minions. And then if your teammate comes in and says, "Wow, look at that pussy," like he's last hitting every day. What the hell is he doing? And then he screenshots you and he puts it on Twitter, and you're feeling ashamed. Like, just don't. Like, it sounds stupid, but like, stand up for what you think is good. So if you play, I see that as well. Like, you play solo queue, you try out a new champion, you play Teemo ADC because you think it's good. But you play it, and then everyone hates you. You go 0-8. Instantly everyone shits on you, so you're just playing in comfort. Well, you're not gonna improve, and it's harder to say I'm weak, I'm not good at what I'm doing right now, but I'm gonna improve, than saying that it's all the other guy's fault and I'm actually fucking great. So yeah, what I'm missing is more of those people that then push the scene ahead, and it's just enjoyable to play against because you're two very committed people, and it's like in a movie, where they start battling and one guy is smart and the other guy is smarter, and you have a rivalry. I think that's missing.
Okay. By the way,
I don't care about this tournament. When exactly it is.
Another question, yet again, about League. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have. Come on. Don't be modest. So,
somewhere.
So if your team, this exact roster, would be placed randomly in LEC, what position would you think you guys get?
Probably last.
Last?
Right now. Probably bottom 4. Because it's a way different environment in LEC than in LCL. And I don't care, like, I think we can win games and all of this, and they are really talented, right? Like, really, really are. But you would need to practice so hard from week to week. And like, it's like basically like way more pressure, And the teams that are in the LEC are extremely good, like Fnatic, G2. I think even Misfit is doing extremely well right now. I think we can beat teams like Vitality, possibly Excel, But even teams like Rogue are good. And I think against those teams it will be a 50-50. So yeah, I think we would be like bottom 4. But what I can tell you is that if we had, probably we would be, okay, let's say we're middle of the pack, I think like after the 2 weeks, maybe 1-3, and then I think we would be like 2-6, and then I think what would happen is we would have a really serious, and then first split will be maybe we make playoffs like by a hair and then become really good because everyone's motivated and they are not like bullshitting. And then I think as we go into summer split, if it's kind of like how I had it with Unicorns of Love before, I'm pretty sure that we would be a top 5 team. But initially, I think we would struggle a lot to get used to all the things you need to do and have this kind of mentality, because I think everyone still is whining too much about things that don't matter and are joking about stuff that's irrelevant. Because I actually don't know. Like, it's not just their problem, it's like so many people's problem. But for example, if you see professional, like really professional players, like in Korea, anybody who's like really made it, whenever it's about League of Legends, they're not so about it. It's not, like, should we play this more aggressive? Like, oh, maybe, yeah, I didn't play it well enough, or yeah, I think it's a better matchup for this guy. It's like the people that really care, they go into it. They're like, okay, is this actually good? Let's have a conversation about it. Like, should we play 2v2 mid lane here? How come we didn't snowball more? How should we play the team fight? How come I didn't know this? How can I make sure next time I know this? They keep asking themselves questions and just make sure, like, next time it's going to work. Like, they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And I think we are stepping short there a bit. Not as short as other people, like, compared to Russia, but compared to the person I want to be, or, like, the people that the team that I would like us to be. I would like us to be a team that's extremely smart, thinking about everything multiple times, and then come to a conclusion and then play it in a game, and then we look like gods, even though it's like just hard work. So yeah, and I think we can be this team, but will come with time, right? I think that it's by the experience that make you. So if we go to MSI and we get crushed, and our bot lane or mid lane or top lane or jungle or me is performing like shit, I think that that would start a lot more pressure and people taking it more seriously. I don't know a way how to do it right now, like translate it to my players. I wish I did. It's so difficult, but yeah, nothing more in my life I would wish them to have less time wasted than becoming better players, and then, like me, enjoy when they're making great plays. Like, for example, when Nomans makes a really fucking great play and plays a champion, and he plays very smart around jungle and support, and not just for lane, just around this, and he plays it as good as he can. It doesn't matter against what opponent, like, I really don't care. And he makes this really smart play that all comes together. I can see that. It doesn't matter if he plays against the Victors from last split or if he plays against SKT. But if you see this, it's just like, oh, it's so good. I don't know. It's the best play when somebody is smart and creative. Yeah. So I would love to have a constant like this all the time, but it's so hard to get. But I will learn, and next time, maybe in 2 years, we talk again, and I can tell you more.
I mean, I'm gonna keep that promise. I'm
after
gonna hold you to your world.
Afterwards, we're gonna talk again and tell you what I learned.
There is a question about you as a person, not just you as the Unicorns of Love coach. So, what's your favorite type of music?
I like any music that's creative and cool, and where you're like, oh, this has something, like a different sound or whatever. Right now, I found like a song that's like really funky and has like a really cool bass line, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so good. So it really goes from, it goes everywhere.
So I think generally, style, yeah.
I don't really have a style. Anything that's cool and creative, I like as much Bohemian Rhapsody as I like songs from Genesis, Led Zeppelin. I like old school music. I don't like so much heavy metal. Honestly, it's probably that's not my type so much. And growling and deathcore or death heavy metal or something like this. Yeah, okay. I'm not the biggest fan of rap either. So I guess it's more like where people put a lot of soul into it.
Wait a minute. Yeah. A very important question, by the way, here. Did you like the rap that me and Nick wrote to support you guys?
Of course. But we have the boss.
Yeah. You might have an army, but we have the boss.
We have the boss,
yes. Okay, yeah, I understand what you're getting. And thanks, that was finally a personal question. Why not? So, tell me, how do you spend your free time when you're not working? Because I assume you have some free time, right?
Yes, I have downstairs a grand piano. My parents gave it to me. because they're amazing, and I can play there. I'm learning to sing right now, so whenever I have time, like after scrims, or I'm just doing like a vocal training every day, and then I sing for like half an hour to an hour, as long as I have time. And because I really suck at singing, so I was like really bad, like like this. And I have good rhythm. I played piano for like 17 years, so I'm very good at it. But I wanted to experience how it is to suck at something and then be embarrassed about it, because everyone tells you it sounds like shit, and you still have to keep pushing through. Because I think I missed that, being vulnerable for being shitty at something. Because as a coach, you very easily get into this, like, I'm the fuck, I know everything. I have so much power, like, if I tell you shut up, then they will shut up. But it's not beneficial. Like, it feels good, maybe, but in the end, if you lose games, you will look like an idiot, and you might feel correct, but it's not a good way to live your life, to be so self-centered. So I mean, it's not bad to be that self-centered, but, you know, don't be self-ignorant, something like this. So yeah, I love singing, I love playing piano, I love spending time with my family, brainstorming crazy ideas for Unicorns of Love. I like to watch YouTube videos about every esport. I watch a lot of Hearthstone Battlegrounds if I have time.
Nice.
Yes,
man.
there we go. I really think it's cool. I would like watching every other sport. There was a time where I watched StarCraft 2 replays on end. I watched fighting games, Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, honestly, anything that's cool. Or like, I also like on YouTube to watch smart people talking about stuff. If it's about human psyche, or if it's a great talk show host explaining something, or if it's like a Joe Rogan podcast with like a physics blah blah blah. Even though this is honestly more for entertainment than it's actually for their value, but yeah, I think this kind of stuff.
Joe Rogan, once again, huge respect.
Yeah.
Guys,
I mean,
if you haven't checked it out, check it. Very good.
Yeah, he's an entertainer, but at least he has interesting podcasts. Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Not everything. So another question: how many levels have you completed in Baba? What the hell is Baba?
Wait. Who's? Oh, Baba is you. I'm almost okay. I played this game. It's actually pretty good. So, it's like a logic game, you know.
Okay.
And Boss told me to play it. But Boss is playing so many fun games, by the way. You know, he's playing Who Wants to Be the Boshi and Who Wants to Be the Boss and stuff.
That's not a fun game. That's suffering.
He's just like, I think Boss is like, he's, like I said, he just keeps running into the wall until the wall breaks, and then, you know, good. But he is really good, obviously. You saw it today. If you haven't, check it out again.
I saw it. I was watching the games. Except for the last one. I went to the gym at the time.
His Renekton.
Oof. That was
insane.
That was insane. And we were just talking on my stream about the new changes to Bork, the Blade of the Royal King, and I was saying like maybe we will see it on Renekton. And I mean, well, basically we saw it on set as well. Boss was doing
against Ornn, right?
Yeah. Which social network do you think is the most important? Twitter?
TikTok. No, I'm just
TikTok.
kidding. VK. Hey everybody. VK. I think the most important one, probably Twitter. But I really don't like social media that much right now, because every time something is cool, people who have like bad ideas go there, and then it's just all about marketing and business strategies and how to do this and that and blah and blah, and it's how can I make myself look better, and I don't like that so much. So Instagram is like, you know, it's a lot of shining, but if you talk with the people, they are actually not so happy or not feeling that great, or so yeah. I know that social media makes me upset. I really prefer, if I could like stay on my phone and watch social media, I always think it would be better to play something on piano or sing a song or go outside and spend some time to feel good.
Yeah, and this is how I can see that you feel old, you know, because I have the same feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Social media. It's way too much.
Yeah, sit on like a bench at a lake, feeding the ducks.
Exactly.
With like bread, think about life. That's my stuff.
What could have I done there? Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Social media is, I think it's a pain, but it's not something that you can just like throw out of your life. It's kind of important, apparently, for any reason. Maybe not TikTok, but but like Twitter, Instagram, and
I will start a TikTok account just because of this and make like the most cringy worth content, so that people want me off that platform. And I'm like, all right. And then people ask me why I'm not on TikTok. I'm like, last experience was so bad. So I have an excuse,
You know, for me, when the person asks me why are you not in TikTok, for me it's the reason to like delete it from life.
Yes, but like if people want me to go TikTok, maybe I start a TikTok career. You never know. 5 years ago I didn't think I would be a professional League of Legends coach. Here I am.
I mean, you started singing, you started playing the piano.
Right.
Maybe
all the ways leading to yeah, I'm down. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, one last question. Since you work in your family organization, right? With your father, with your sister, does it help a lot, or does it have some disadvantages when you get like more nervous, you feel more responsible for the results of organization?
I mean, it has its up and downside, but it's way better than not having that, because you have people that actually care as well from the other side. And I think it's, again, because I don't want to, like let them down, I try to do better. And I think that's always great. Like, even if the consequences are worse, I don't think it's so important about this. I think it's more about life is about trying hardest, So, yeah, I love it. I have people I trust. I would give them, any kind of responsibility, and I know they will perform well, and they love me in the end of the year, and whatever happens, and that's great. So it's fantastic. I'm extremely happy, and I wish everybody that's in their job, they could like experience that one time where people like truly care about your opinion and really want you to do well for them, for the organization, but also for yourself. So it's amazing.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So apart from this thing with buffing Katarina, everything was great.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna remember
I
that.
screwed it up there.
Yeah. Also, guys, if you didn't know, since I'm wearing a Deadpool t-shirt, this guy is the official voice of the German Deadpool. How cool is that?
No. Wait. I had a synchronization role in the Deadpool. I'm not the Deadpool.
Oh, okay. Sorry. My bad.
Way too bad. Now it sounds like shit when I say this, but you build it up so big.
Still, you participated in the voiceover of Deadpool. It's still awesome as hell. As hell.
That's pretty good. I had a really long part, but I was so bad, so they cut it down to like something really short, which shows you that voice acting and casting is not easy. So yeah, props to you.
It's not. Thank you. And tell that to Riot.
Yeah, I'll tell.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Anyway, thank you very much. You've been great. And once again, if you ever come up with something that you want to do together, I'm always up for it. I hope that you will be able to come back to Russia soon enough. As you know, Sheepy is kind of stuck in Germany because of the whole Corona situation. Hopefully, we'll see you back in Russia for the time of the finals, or even maybe before. Because I mean, I know that everybody is gonna love to see you on the stage in your suit, maybe with a Ulysses in the unicorn costume or something. I don't know.
I would have it. Yeah, I would love to be there with Ulysses again in the suit. I mean, in the costume would be awesome. Well, then goodbye, everybody. Do svidaniya, and have a nice night.
Cool. Bye.